The Great Pyramid, ancient technology far beyond its time? For over 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood on the edge of the Sahara Desert. A monument so perfect, so mysterious, that it defies both time and logic. Every stone, every angle, every mathematical ratio carved into this structure tells a story that challenges everything we think we know about human history. We've been taught that the Great Pyramid was simply a tomb built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2500 BC. But the deeper you look, the more that theory begins to crumble. Because the Great Pyramid doesn't look or behave like a tomb at all. There are no hieroglyphics inside, no mummies, no treasure, no inscriptions claiming its ownership. Instead, what we find is something far more enigmatic: precision engineering, geometric perfection, and mathematical knowledge that seems to belong to a much more advanced civilization. The pyramid's alignment to true north is nearly perfect, off by only a fraction of a degree. Its base covers 13 acres, built with more than 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons each. And somehow, these stones were transported and fitted together so tightly that even a razor blade can't slip between them. No mortar, no iron tools, no wheel, just flawless precision. When you think about it, the scale alone is mind-bending. If you lifted one block every minute, it would take over 40 years of non-stop work to complete. And yet mainstream archaeology tells us this was done with ropes, wooden sleds, and copper chisels. But here's the strange part. This level of precision isn't random. It's encoded with deep mathematical meaning. The ratio of the pyramid's height to its perimeter equals exactly 2p. The slope angle of 51 degrees 51 nun is a near-perfect representation of the golden ratio, and the structure's dimensions encode the radius of the Earth and even the length of a solar year. Coincidence? Or a sign that the builders possessed astronomical and geodetic knowledge thousands of years ahead of their time? Some researchers believe the Great Pyramid wasn't just built for a pharaoh, but for a function, an instrument, a machine, a form of ancient technology. Inside, the mystery deepens. The so-called King's Chamber is constructed entirely from red granite, a material rich in quartz, capable of generating piezoelectric energy when placed under stress. Above it lies a series of relieving chambers that distribute weight perfectly, but their spacing and material composition also appear to create resonant frequencies. When sound or vibration is introduced into these chambers, the stone literally hums. And then there's the Grand Gallery, a narrow passageway with a vaulted ceiling that seems to channel and amplify sound like an acoustic amplifier. Could it have been designed to capture vibrational energy, or to direct something deeper inside the structure? At the very heart of the pyramid lies a small granite coffer, often mistaken for a sarcophagus. But the coffer is too large to fit through the entrance passages. It must have been placed there during construction, suggesting it had a specific purpose, not funerary. Some scientists and engineers have proposed that the coffer, combined with the pyramid's quartz and limestone, could have created an electromagnetic resonance, effectively turning the entire monument into an ancient energy generator. In 2018, a team from the Institute of Radiotechnics in St. Petersburg used simulations to test this theory. They discovered that the pyramid's internal geometry could, under certain conditions, focus electromagnetic energy into its inner chambers and beneath its base. This wasn't fantasy. It was physics. So, was this structure actually built to harvest natural energy from the Earth itself? The more you look, the stranger it gets. Because across the planet, we find other pyramid-like structures. In Mexico, China, Peru, Indonesia, each aligned to cardinal directions, each built with inexplicable precision and often containing quartz-rich stone. Different cultures, different continents, same architectural fingerprint. Could they have been part of a global network, built to capture, store, or transmit energy? Or perhaps to resonate with natural Earth frequencies, maintaining planetary stability in ways we no longer understand? Mainstream archaeology insists it was all coincidence, independent invention. But coincidences start to feel like patterns when they repeat across oceans and millennia. Let's step back and look at the logistics for a moment. How were these massive stones cut, lifted, and placed? Some theories suggest ramps, but none have ever been found that could account for the full height or weight. Others believe advanced tools were used, perhaps machines that softened or vibrated stone, similar to ultrasonic cutting. In fact, modern experiments using copper tools failed miserably to reproduce the precision of the original work. Then there's the evidence of extreme heat on certain blocks. Microscopic analysis shows that some surfaces were fused, as if exposed to intense energy. Could that indicate a lost method of stone manipulation, possibly even geopolymers, where stone was cast, not carved? French materials scientist Joseph Davidovits has long argued that the pyramid blocks were made using an early form of concrete, a reconstituted limestone slurry poured into molds. This would explain their chemical consistency and lack of tool marks. If true, that means the ancient Egyptians had mastered synthetic stone technology 4,000 years before modern chemistry. Still, the question remains, why? Why such perfection, such precision, for what's supposedly just a royal tomb? Some say the pyramid served as an astronomical observatory, its shafts aligned to key stars like Orion's belt and Sirius. Others believe it was a harmonic temple, a place designed to interact with sound and vibration, tuning the human mind into altered states of consciousness. And a few researchers, dismissed by academics but embraced by physicists, propose it functioned as an ancient energy transducer, drawing subtle Earth energies through its base and transmitting them upward, like an enormous antenna. What makes this idea even more intriguing is that ancient texts from other civilizations describe similar concepts: cosmic energy, life force, resonance between man, earth, and sky. Perhaps the builders weren't primitive stonemasons, but scientists of the natural world, engineers of energy and consciousness. Modern measurements add more layers to the puzzle. The pyramid's latitude corresponds almost exactly to the speed of light in meters per second, 29.9792458 degree N. Of course, skeptics call that coincidence, but it's an eerie one nonetheless. How could a monument built thousands of years ago accidentally encode a number we only discovered in the 20th century? Then there's the global connection. Many ancient cultures spoke of a first time, an age when gods or star beings brought knowledge from the heavens. Myths from Egypt, Sumer, and Mesoamerica describe advanced beings teaching humanity agriculture, mathematics, and architecture, then vanishing. Could the Great Pyramid be a legacy of that lost epoch, the last surviving artifact of an earlier high civilization? In recent decades, explorers using ground-penetrating radar have found cavities beneath the Giza Plateau, tunnels, chambers, and perhaps even entire structures still unexplored. Egyptian authorities rarely allow public access, fueling speculation that something extraordinary might be hidden below. And here's the thing. The more science progresses, the more mysterious the pyramid becomes. We're not closing the gap of understanding. We're widening it. Every new scan, every new simulation raises more questions than answers. Why does the Great Pyramid resonate at the exact same frequency as the Earth's natural Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hz? Why were certain chambers built with acoustically perfect proportions? And why does the pyramid's design mirror not only geometric constants, but also the architecture of the human body itself? The heart, the lungs, the energy channels described in ancient texts? Could the builders have known something we've forgotten? That consciousness, energy, and matter are deeply connected? Even modern physicists are beginning to acknowledge that the universe behaves more like a giant resonance field than a mechanical clockwork. Perhaps the ancients understood that principle and encoded it into stone. The Great Pyramid might not be a power plant in the literal sense, but it may have been designed to harmonize human consciousness with the cosmos. A spiritual scientific instrument, both a temple and a transmitter. Of course, these are theories, but theories born out of data, not fantasy. And regardless of where you stand, one truth remains undeniable. The builders of Giza achieved something so monumental that it still humbles our greatest minds today. We can send rockets to Mars, split atoms, and create artificial intelligence. Yet we still don't fully understand how this monument was built, or why. Perhaps that's the true message carved into the stones, that human progress isn't linear, that civilizations rise, fall, and rise again, and that beneath the sands of time lies a hidden chapter of our story. One that reminds us we may not be the first to reach for the stars. The Great Pyramid stands as a silent witness, a relic of forgotten genius, an echo of advanced knowledge, and maybe, just maybe, a beacon left behind by those who once mastered the balance between science and spirit. And until we truly understand it, it will continue to challenge everything we think we know about who we are, where we come from, and what humanity is truly capable of. Please don't forget to subscribe and set a comment and ring the bell.